Welcome to part 2 of Unstoppable Australian Fight Culture season finale, where I sit down with UFC veteran and Australian MMA royalty, Kyle Noke. We reflect on the last 5 episodes and what we've learned from each of our guests, and how this is paving the way for Australian MMA. Is this the golden age of Australian MMA? Or has it been in your case?
It's definitely been, because I'm not fighting anymore. I'd get up at 4 or 5 in the morning to go to the zoo, and I'd go from the zoo down to Brisbane every night, and I wouldn't get home until 10 o'clock at night anyway after training, so all I really needed was a bed. I'd live out of a car if I had to.
Did you have a backup plan?
Yeah, I had no backup plan, no education, no nothing. For me, it was fighting was everything. Like, you have to be prepared to kill someone or die in there.
You've also had to fight teammates.
You can't get as excited to fight, you know. I always hated it. Sometimes you need to throw your heart over the ring and your body will follow.
So now we get to the fun part where we're going to have a bit of a chat, and I'm going to ask you some questions and note some points in the series.
Right.
From each episode, each guest. I want your take on it. It doesn't have to be a long-winded answer, John Martin Fraser kind of style answer.
Yeah.
It can just be short and sweet, but I just love your opinion on a few of these things.
All right.
Let's look at episode 1. We had Max Kruger. Right. Do you know much about Max Kruger? Have you seen his fights and kind of what he's doing in the space?
I've watched him fight. I think I've called his fights. I do know what he's doing with his Instagram and stuff like that a little bit, yeah.
What your take on what he's doing on the Instagram and the social media and this new age approach? I'll call this a new age approach where we're using the power of social media at any stage in our career to really kind of bring that popularity in. I
think he's doing a great job with it. I think what I've seen of his Instagram, and I don't know if he's got TikTok, I've only got Instagram, I'm barely on that, but what I've seen, it seems organic the way he's doing it. He's not sort of forcing it out there. There's a platform there for him there to promote himself, so why not use it? I think he's doing the right thing and he's doing everything right. Now,
what do you say would be a downside of this new age approach?
I think the only downside of it too is some guys will focus more on that Instagram side of it, you know, like the popularity, the being famous, the likes and everything like that, as opposed to fighting. I think fighting has to be your main priority. You know, it's the same as training. All the training you do outside of fighting is supplementary to your fight training.
But yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. That new age approach is necessary if you want to boost yourself in any shape or form in the local scene, the international scene, but nothing beats being a really, really good fighter.
No, nothing at all.
Now, episode 2, we had one of the country's hottest amateur prospects, Aiden Gould. I was trying to cue you in there. Didn't work. Aiden Gould was the number 1 amateur in the country. Had a great fight recently against Dom Aston. Lost that, but that was the number 1 and 2 guys in the country going at it. What is your take on Aiden coming through the MMA system from a young age and athletes like himself moving into professional career? Like the talent that they're bringing at that generation.
I think it's great, and this is what I spoke about earlier. Is I didn't start training till I was 22, but these guys have been doing it since they're kids. So it's the next level. It's like I was talking about surfing earlier. They reckon you'll never be a pro surfer if you don't know how to surf before you're 12 years old. It's just like there's so many skills you have to pick up on now. There's so many little aspects that you have to be, and you can't just get in there anymore and just be that tough guy. Like you can't just be, I'm just going to wing it. You know, I'll knock everyone out. You have to have so many aspects of the game now. You can't just be a good kickboxer. You can't just be a good jiu-jitsu guy, because sooner or later you're going to fight a guy that can defend takedowns and can stand up. And then if you're a good kickboxer, you're going to find a guy that can take you down and can submit you. So you need to have a well-rounded game these days, and you need time to develop that game. You can't just get in there and develop it in a year or two. So
we didn't have a combat sports base as a foundation in this country. As a result of that, we're actually creating a sport that we understand ourselves as MMA. It's not pure wrestling, it's not pure boxing, it's not kickboxing, it's not Muay Thai, it's MMA striking. It's like wrestling with the wall, with submissions, with punches.
Use the brake, guys, use the brake, get the breathing going.
This is where we can take advantage, and we have been taking advantage of the foundations that other countries have had, focus very heavily on traditional wrestling or whatever else, and we're taking advantage of that. If you make MMA your own, and it's not the same as all these other disciplines, when you verse someone in that discipline, it's going to feel different for them.
Self-regulate, time is on, let's go.
yeah, I think it's a necessary part of the sport, but I also think you have to bring them up the right way as well. You can't. I don't like to see kids fight too much. I think they need to protect their brains, but just training and developing. You can still do jiu-jitsu comps, you can still do wrestling comps, you can still, do light sparring and all that. So as long as they're doing everything the right way, I think it's going to be the natural progression of the sport to make sure, like, everyone's going to come through and they're going to be doing it since they've been a kid.
I really believe before you fight, you should have grappling comps. It will 100% get you ready for a fight, 100%. I'm confident, because if you go into a fight, like you said, your first time getting taken down in a competitive way was in a pro MMA fight against Cam Ranston, who's in the UFC now. My first one was like a white belt. You're gonna see the difference, you know what I mean? Yeah, I truly believe this next 2 years, you're gonna be seeing my name everywhere. I really believe that. I reckon the UFC will be pretty close by then. 21, I reckon I'll definitely be in the UFC.
And what would you say to the amateurs or people like Aiden that are finding a lot of success early in their careers at a very fast pace?
I'm sure he's got the right people around him. Everyone's looking after him. Just keep your nose down, keep working. Don't let the fame, like if he progresses and keeps on this route, like, it's what we spoke about, keeping that ego in check, I guess. I think some of the times, and I've seen it with guys that I've trained here too that have been phenomenal athletes as kids and like go in there and win every submission grappling comp and everyone knows who they are around this little area, like they're the big fish in a small bowl. Don't let that side of it get to them. Like, make sure they're always learning. Don't rely on their past achievements to sort of get to them. Like, just because everybody knows and expects big things from them, they can sort of rest on their laurels. And I've seen that happen so many times with these kids. Yeah.
One of my favorite guests and mindset was Kim Tran, which I mentioned before. She said,
"Am I fighting not to lose or to win? And there is a difference."
Now, this statement is really, really strong. And one of my favorite quotes of the whole series, because Steve Compton, who you've had the pleasure of training under and with multiple times, instills this in us as well. Is like, don't fight to just stop their game. Don't fight to not lose to what they're doing. Yep. Inflict your will. Fight to win the match. And I think a lot of people can be hesitant of the skill discrepancy. I'm killing it today. Like you were saying before, if you're a good striker, they're grappling. It's like, I'm only focusing on not grappling. Well, you forget to strike, then you forget to do your skills. So are you fighting to not lose, or are you fighting to win? Did you have any quotes or mindsets like this during your career that kept you going or helped you through different challenges?
No, not really. I love that quote though, and that sort of hits on me too, because, and I know it, like I was talking about, once I got the money, I was fighting not to lose, and they're always the fights that you do bad in. The fights that you fight not to lose, as opposed to I'm going to go out there and win, are the fights you always do. Whether you win them or lose them, they're the fights you don't do the best in. So I do love that quote, but no. The only quote I love, and I said it earlier, is by Daniel Dawson, who was a kickboxer, Muay Thai guy back when I was sort of coming out, and he said the same thing about, they're like, oh, how do you get in there and fight this Thai guy that's had a couple of hundred fights and you've only had like 50 or something like that? And he said, sometimes you need to throw your heart over the ring and your body will follow. If I had that nervous energy to fight someone, I'm like, you know what, I've just got to get in there. If I just get in there, I know that I can do the rest. So I guess that's one quote that I could have looked back on a lot.
I really like that quote.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
I might even write that one down after this. Kim's episode was really good because I resonated with a lot of her mindset and a lot of things that she said. She said that fighting, it's almost like she's fighting in high definition. Like when she gets in there, her thoughts are like very clear. She can see everything. With your fights, we talked about routine beforehand. What was your kind of mindset when you were fighting? Were you a very nervous person going in? Were you calm? Did you like to get angry? What was your mindset when you tried to fight?
My very first fight ever, I wasn't nervous at all. I'd had so many fights before, and like I said, playing football and whatever. It was more once the pressure sort of got on me, I started winning, the nerves come. And then I had a coach, Thai boxing coach, and I forget his name. I wish I remembered his name. And I tell this to all my fighters now as well. When you start feeling that nervous energy, it's also excitement as well. You're about to do what you've been trained to do this whole time.
Now, Kim Tran, early in her career, started traveling to go overseas to fight, to find opponents.
Yep.
She seems to be the exception in women's MMA in Australia, where she just seems to be fighting 4 times a year, every single year,
yep,
and just getting it done. What's your thoughts on being able to now travel around and just find fights anywhere in the world at any point in your career?
I think it's great. I think if you're at that level, then why not? Like if that's something you want to do, then why not? There are opportunities for you here in Australia, but if you can do that and you have the funds to do it and that's your dream, then do it. Even when I used to fight in the UFC, I'd say if I fought in Germany, I'd say keep me there 2 weeks longer and I'd travel around afterwards. So I got to live a good life from fighting by traveling and fighting around. Fought in Puerto Rico, fought all over the world, So why not do it?
Now, Kim Tran being our first female guest and representing strong in Australia, what's your take on the female scene in Australia and the talent that comes through there?
The female scene's harder because there aren't as many women in the sport. They're pushing each other and they're learning from each other, and you're going to see it climb even faster and faster. But I think that's like I love watching them. I think women fighting, like they fight with all their hearts. They're always exciting. So I think the progression's just not as quick. That's all because there's not as many women in the gym.
Now, Kim obviously noted in her episode that like she's trained with a lot of people that she's fought, or some of the people that she's fought, and she sees someone's her size. She's like, look, like we're probably gonna have to fight someday.
Like it is growing. Like the amateur female scene in Australia is growing. There's just not many of us. I've trained with most of the girls that I've fought. Ash, she was an old teammate. Mike and I trained with her for a little while prior to our pro fight together. Mia. It just, I don't know. There's not many of us, and you kind of, when you meet another girl that's like your size, you're like, so you're cool with each other, but you're also like, we'll probably fight. And like, I'm down, you know what I mean? Like, I can't do it without them. Yeah. So, if you're down, I'm down, let's do it.
You've also had to fight teammates, and or probably been friends or continue relationships with people after fighting. Mm-hmm. How important is that in the sport to kind of build those relations and the excitement behind it?
Have someone who's helped you get to a point in your career and you've helped them and go back and forth, and you have this mutual respect that you've earned in the gym with each other of pushing each other to be the best you can be, and then all of a sudden you're standing across from them in the cage. It's like you can't get as excited to fight. I always hated it, and I've had to fight a few friends a few times, and it's never a good fight. From
there, we went to Melbourne. We went to Absolute MMA, where there's a lot of killers, and we met Sam Miles, who has the passion for the sport like I haven't met before. Not just being in the sport, but he was passionate about the sport before he even started. And he's got the mindset to attach to it as well. He just won Fight of the Year for 2025 with his fight against Nate Law. I believe you were cage side for that. You've seen Sam Miles fight. What do you think of him?
I think he's great. I think he's phenomenal, the sky's the limit for whatever he wants to do.
Now, Sam said a quote that really stuck with me is,
you want to be one of the 1% of the 1%ers, you got to be an anomaly. And, and anomalies don't stay in bed. They get up and they go to training when they don't want to train. And even when they're injured, they still try to find ways to get the most out of their days, get the most out of their sessions. And, so I'd like to think it's all me, but I think I've been really taught great lessons of discipline, and that's carried me through. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I'm willing to push the body as far as it'll go. I'll probably, will not be able to walk or anything at 40, 45, but I think it'll be worth it.
What I said before about what's done in the dark will shine in the light. Those moments where you don't want to be there is super important that you do and show up for yourself. What got you up in the morning and the morning, or do those sessions that you didn't want to?
It is like you said too. I remember some of my very best training sessions I ever had are the ones that I didn't feel like going to. And so sometimes you're like, I just don't want to go today, and then you'll go there and it'll end up being the best, and you'll learn so much about yourself and so much more. But I think that like what got me up every time is I love the sport that much. I love doing what I was doing. And also once you get a good team around you, you don't want to let them down either. Like there's guys that are getting ready for their fights that rely on you to help push them. It is an individual sport when we get in there, but it takes a team of us to get there. And even if I wasn't fighting, I was the guy that was in the gym all the time helping everyone else anyway. So that always got me up to be there, is that camaraderie, being there for each other, and also just trying to be the best that I can be. Like I don't want to sleep in, and it's that whole regret thing. If I slept in and missed a great session, like, fuck, if I'd just done that, or come fight time, I'm like, if I didn't sleep in those 3 times, maybe I'd feel a bit better or something like that. So it's all about, for me, it was always doing absolutely everything I can to win that fight, and everything I can to follow my dream, I guess.
And he truly believes that
Like if you show up every day and you train hard and like you put the work in, like you can 100% do this. This is not some unattainable dream.
Do you believe in that statement?
I believe in that statement, but I also believe it's got to be quality training over quantity as well. Like you can, but if there's five, 6 sessions a day and you show up for every single one of them, then what's your quality of sessions going to be like, you know? So I think you also have to be smart about it. He's right. Like you have to show up, you have to be there. You can't. I see these guys now that they want to be fighters and they want to make it all the way, and they'll train 2 or 3 times a week. I'm like, that's just not going to cut it. You know, you 2 or 3 times a week over the space of a year. How many times is that? As opposed to a guy that's training 2 or 3 times a day, every day, over the space of a year, then he's put in 3, 4, 5, 6 times more work than you have. You know, so some of these guys rely on their talent too much and don't go to the gym. Where you get these guys that have a little bit of talent but have that work ethic, and they're the guys that make it.
How important is it to have a team around you to help direct you in that direction as well, with the passing of knowledge, with the advice, like you just said, with your former teammate?
I think it's crucial in this game. I think you can only go so far without a good team behind you and people that care about you. And like I said, it is an individual sport, but it takes a whole team of us to get there. Like you can sit back and think probably about all your fights, who helped you get to each and every one of them, you know, like who was crucial to your sparring at that time, or who was, you know, giving you the advice that you needed right at that right moment, you know. So people that guide you, the guys like Steve Compton's, who are a mentor and drop knowledge on you all the time and make you really question yourself as well. So yeah, I think it's crucial.
Now, talking about teammates and people that have helped me in my past, that brings us to our 5th episode guest, and someone that you've got personal history with, John Martin Fraser. What have you and John Martin Fraser, how have you guys, I don't know what I'm trying to say here with my hands. How have your paths crossed?
John came into my gym when I had my gym, and everyone was like, oh, you're this big, strong guy, you know, he's so strong, he's just manhandling everyone, and I rolled against him, and I don't remember it straight afterwards. He said that I said to him straight away, like, you're not that strong. But it was more, I was using technique against his strength. I knew how to direct his strength. John's one of my best mates in the world. As you would know, training with him, he is exactly who he is from the moment you meet him. Like, he doesn't hide who he is. He doesn't pretend to be someone else. After the first or second time I met him, I drove down to Brisbane with him, and I'd seen pictures of his tattoos on his ass. I'd seen all kinds of stuff that friends my whole life I haven't seen. You know, he doesn't hold anything back, and that's what I love most about John is he is who he is, and he doesn't care. You either like him or you don't. There's no in between with John. And also the fact that he's a phenomenal fighter. He's a hard-nosed, tough guy. He's one of the hardest working guys in the gym. He's got a thirst for knowledge. He's one of the funniest men I've ever met in my life without trying to be funny. So it's not that he's trying to be funny. He's just a good dude.
One of the best things about that episode is I got to tell him about the first time we met, and he kind of didn't remember it. But it was you're saying the thirst for knowledge, and he has this very old school way of training. Like, he's hard at it, but he's so humble.
Yep.
He really is a nice guy, and he's just so humble. And he taught me the lesson of just learn from anyone.
Yeah,
because
right.
I was a nobody in comparison to his record, but he was the first session we met, first time we trained. He was just trying to get as much knowledge out of me as possible from the little things that he saw.
Yep.
If I could train with someone that's only been training for 6 months, but they might be really good at this one thing, like, I'd be stupid not to appreciate that and go, teach me how to do that, you know? I think that's what I love about the sport. I think you should be able to learn or be humble enough to learn off anyone you train with.
And he opened my eyes in that moment of what I was missing out on, the potential I was missing out on.
Yep.
So that episode was really, really good for me because I was able to kind of dive back into that story with him. But I also love it because you might find some connection to this as well, as the messaging was almost, what is your personal unit of success? Is it my identity is attached to going to the UFC? And if that doesn't happen, what happens? Or is it something bigger and greater? Does it move? John, for example, missed his chance to go in UFC not once, but twice in a series of events that could have played out differently. But yet he's now traveling the world, fighting around the world. He's got his own gym and a daughter, and he's living everything that he set out to do 10, 15 years ago.
If I just focused on the UFC, I think my fucking world would fall apart. I'm like, fucking hell, that doesn't, you know, I can't imagine the UFC right now. but like, I didn't get in it just for the UFC. I love training, you know, I love training, I love competing. So I just need to focus on that, you know.
What's your unit of success? It's such a good message for that episode, because whether he made the UFC or not, like, he's doing exactly what he would have been doing. So it's so much greater than that small goal that you attach yourself to, and he pivoted every step of the way to be where he is.
Yeah. You know, a lot of guys, their success is getting to the UFC, and for me, it wasn't about that either. It was about, well, that's just where the best guys, and like I said, I wanted to fight in Pride. I never wanted to be a UFC fighter, but that's where all the best guys were. So me judging my success was fighting the best guys in the world. It was never about who I fought for or where I fought. For me, it was just like, being successful for me was doing what I loved and doing what I wanted to do, which is exactly what John's doing now. And it really does suck about him losing those fights. And he won't tell anyone, but that fight he lost against Darcy Vender, he was sick all week. He had the flu. He couldn't hold any food down. He was bad to the point where he should have pulled out of the fight. But true John, you know, fashion, he's not pulling out. He jumps in there and fights anyway. Probably shouldn't have, but there's still no excuses. I don't think he told anyone like publicly about that. But yeah, that's just a testament to what he's like. He's going to fight no matter what.
He really does hold that kind of old school mentality to it, and is a true fighter in the game. Yep. He loves it for what it is and respects it, and continues to pass on that knowledge to his teammates like myself and the people in the gym at Oasis as well, which I see you are quite still a big part of and dropping into the team. Yeah,
I try to get in there as much as I can. I'm so busy these days. I run a business and then trying to renovate a house, but the time that I do get, I like to go in there, and it's not even the trainers. I like to go hang with the guys, you know. Like, you know, it's like you got that camaraderie in the gym. Like your gym family is like family to you. So, it's more just going back to hang with the guys and have a good time. But like the Jordan, who's their jiu-jitsu coach there now, was one of my students. So I trained from a white belt up to a black belt. And that's who I learn from now. Like, speaking about learning from people, like, I don't get the opportunity to be on the mats that much anymore, so I'm trying to pick everyone's brain quietly. But then with him, Jordan, I'm like, how'd you do that? Show me that. And this is a guy that I trained. I was a black belt when he was a white belt, or a brown belt maybe. Not that I care much about belts, but that's just like the example of the level. And now he's at this level where that's all he does is absorb, goes home and watches instructionals, you know, and he's one guy that I'd like to learn a lot off now.
Now, I feel like you and Johnny have a lot of similarities in your story. Traveled around the world fighting. You both traveled to a new country to pursue fighting. You started a gym, you moved into coaching, and now you have family as well.
Yeah, there is, and that's probably why we get along so well. But yeah, I think he's probably more the same mindset of me. You know, it's all about the fight game. It's all about the process as opposed to the fame, anything else that comes along with it. And I don't think, I know John doesn't care about the fame. I know he doesn't care about the money. He doesn't care about any of that stuff, you know. So I think we both have the same mindset in that aspect as well.
So now we've gone through all 5 episodes of season 1 of Unstoppable. Now I have to ask, because this is what we're here for. This is what we've been trying to find out over these last 5 episodes and talking to you. Is this the golden age of Australian MMA? Or has it just begun? Or has it been in your case?
It's definitely been, because I'm not fighting anymore. No. I don't think it's the golden age right now. I think these guys that are coming up now, these amateurs now, once they get to the pro level and progress, I think we're going to see a whole new level again. So I'm optimistic for the future. I think the golden age is yet to come. I think we're starting. I think whatever forms gold, we're at the start of that process. So I think the golden age is coming for sure.
I think the people like yourself, and then, like I said earlier, Volkanovski and the talent that's already in the UFC are continuing to lay the pathway and pass on the knowledge to this next generation, which are just going to make us a powerhouse. We are already doing so well. I still think there's so much more to come. I do agree with that statement, and it's really interesting to hear your thoughts on it and on each of these individuals as well, because each have a different story, but without even realizing, you've actually quoted almost something from every single episode, which shows me that everyone is unified and under some sort of thoughts. We're all thinking the same thing. We're all doing something similar. It's just about that small little details that get us to the top. And where that takes Australian MMA, I guess we're going to see over the next few years, if not over the next few seasons as well. On that note, Kyle, I just want to thank you so much for being a part of this series, for having a chat on Eternal Night, saying, "Hey, this would be a really cool chat."
Yep.
To then bringing this to light, sharing your knowledge, your story, and it still holds so much value in the sport as well. Without people like yourself still passing on knowledge and showing how big the sport is, I don't think it would be where it is today. So thank you so much for that, and thank you so much for being a part of it.
No worries, I appreciate the kind words, whether I agree with them or not. But and just touching, like, there's some questions like you probably don't know, but from watching the very first time watching you fight, you're one of the guys that got my eye on. That's like, fuck, that guy is good. You do put it together very well. You're a phenomenal striker. Everything's good, you know. But I wanted to ask you a few questions. Is for you, do you have all your eggs in one basket? Do you have anything to fall back on? Is it all fighting for you? Or I do know you like golf and you're pretty good at golf as well. So is there a possibility there's a golf career there after fighting?
If I could have a career in golf, I would not be fighting. Less damage, more money. I don't know. Just look at Tiger Woods' life. It looked pretty cool for a while there until they got a bit not so good.
If you can ask a few questions, would you mind switching chairs?
Should we switch chairs? You're the interviewee
Let's
now.
go.
Right. Here's a question. Good call there, Arnie.
Oh, this is a much better chair.
So the question is all my eggs in the basket of MMA in this career?
Yes.
Right now, yes. Right. Yes, it is. And in different shapes and forms. As I've spoken about today, pursuing the career of MMA isn't just one-dimensional anymore. There's media. There's different things that are part of it. Mm-hmm. And what we've worked over the last few years is my personal brand around that to attach to my fight career. Right. Because it's not my escape boat. It's not my life raft. But it works hand in hand that once my fighting career is done, there's something left over for me to monetize, to use, to live with, and continue doing what I'm doing right now. So this is where the series and the YouTube channel and things have come from, but it does not take away from my fight game. It enhances. It's now giving me freedom to finance training more, traveling around the country, training at other gyms. So yes, the eggs are all in the MMA basket. That MMA basket just looks a little bit different. It's got some different cutouts for different kind of eggs. Really embracing this analogy right now. I'm all in on MMA.
Yeah, good.
Everything MMA, this is where I'm at.
Yep.
It changed my life 3 years ago when I started, when I needed direction and I knew where I needed to go, but I never imagined it would take me to this point right now.
Right.
Where I'm sitting right now, I'm achieving goals that I envisioned 2-3 years ago.
Right.
Being behind a camera, being a media personality, bringing eyes to the sport, fighting on the world stage, on UFC Fight Pass, headlining shows. I am achieving the goals I set out to be. I've had to readjust those, and I know the sky's the limit. So I'm all in on it.
Right. So you said you've only been training MMA for 3 years. So
I started training 5 weeks before my pro debut.
Yeah, right.
Against junior toughest opponent, Trulin Toa on Beatdowns Promotions. I did 5 weeks of grappling training, jumped in there with the brown belt, knocked him out in 30 seconds and said, this is fucking sick. I could do this for life. And then from that moment, I started my coaching business at Team Compton Training Center, and I've trained full-time ever since. And my whole life has just continued to mold, find direction in this sport. Just because you go all in on something doesn't mean you know exactly where that goes. Doesn't mean you have the answers. Yep. I've been finding the answers, finding my purpose along the way, but I've had to ask those hard questions. I've had to look and turn inside myself to find out why I'm doing this, and if this is really what I want to be doing for long term. And the answer is always yes. Yeah,
that's beautiful. I think it's like, what's next for Blair Bretag? Like, what's the future hold? When's the next fight? When are we gonna see you in the cage again?
The future for Blair Bretag is very exciting. Like I'm genuinely excited for myself. The way this series has been well received is more than I could have imagined. And in a way that maybe people don't realize. Yes, there's people viewing it. Yes, there's people messaging. But even before it was viewed, the fact that I reached out to gyms with this idea, hey, I'm doing this, and how welcome, open-armed the gyms and community were to have me and Arnie in their space, blew my mind. Because I know how quite reserved the fight scene can be at times, how accepting people were, how open they were to the idea, and me personally as well, and the respect that I held in their eyes too. So that that response of this series shows me that we are on something really, really good.
Absolutely.
And I cannot wait for what's to come for this series. Like, I know what's to come. I just can't wait for you. I can't wait for you to see what's to come, because this is going to be the biggest show in Australia that everyone will watch when they want to watch the up-and-coming fighters. The people to watch, the people that they want to see in the future will be on this show, and the people that are already doing something will be on this show. This is going to be huge. On top of that, this is giving me the chance to be the best fighter I possibly can. And 2026, I believe, will set me in a position where 2027, I'm fighting the UFC. And I truly and solely believe that. And anything outside that, I don't have thought for. Those two things are my heart and soul right now.
Yep.
And the success that will come from it, and all the failures that will come from it, I'll be so proud of, and I can't wait for.
I believe the same thing, mate. Watching your fights, watching your progression, watching you lose, handle a loss, come back. I'm right there with you. Like I said, from your first time I watched your fight, I thought you were a talent, and I think you're going to shoot up as well.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
No worries, brother.
We are very new in this space, but so far it's been very well received, and we want to keep bringing quality content to you from the Australian MMA scene. We want to bring on more amateurs, more professionals, coaches, gyms, and showcase what the talent in Australia is doing and why we're killing it on the world stage. And the best thing that you can do for us is to keep following, keep engaging, and enjoy the show.